Wake up. Right here.
The Mike Brown Morning Show.
Wake up, baby, won't you wake up? Hit it in the morning.
Heard weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Urban Uplift.
This guy doesn't value a $300,000 or $250,000 car. Now, I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to, because it may not be as much worth as much to him as it would be to me. But isn't that crazy that you could be in a $250,000 car and still be smoking? And so that just made me think, man, like, what do you value? And I guess it's a rhetorical question. I'm still trying to, I know what I value, but it's just making me look at it like, man, what do we value? And what would you do for the things that you value? Or what does it look like when you value something? Let's keep that question on our minds today, and let's figure that out throughout the course of the day. I don't think that happened for no reason. I know it may seem like whatever, but it's a good thought. We got a great show planned for you today. I hope that you had a good first hour. I hope you rocked out with the music that we're playing. We're going to continue to play great music. That's what we do here on the Mike Brown Morning Show. So we're going to keep that going, of course. And we didn't talk about it yesterday, but did y'all see the McDonald's tour? Remember I told you on Friday to check it out. I told you they were doing, usually with the McDonald's tour, they actually go to about 10 or maybe 15 cities. But this year, because of COVID, they condensed it to 4 cities, and it's all virtual. So the first one was Detroit. The first one was Chicago a week ago. Then this past Sunday was Detroit. Then next week is going to be Atlanta. Then the last one is going to be Dallas. So this past Sunday it was Detroit. It was Tasha Page Lockhart, the Clark sisters, Kiara Clark Sheard, and then Karen did her own set. I want to know what y'all think about that. I think it was hot. I like Chicago, but I got to be partial to Detroit. And here's a little shade. Cleveland didn't make the list this year. Maybe next year, if we're going to be virtual, Cleveland might get on the list. I'm gonna leave that right there. But hey, I want to know what you think about that. So hit me up on my social media. Hit me up at the Mike Brown Morning Show on Instagram. It's the Mike Brown Morning Show. You can email me at the Mike Brown Morning Show at gmail.com, and you can still send in your requests. I play what you guys want to hear. If you want me to shout you out, I'll shout you out. Just hit me up at the Mike Brown Morning Show at gmail.com. And man, so much to talk about. What's up with the Commander-in-Chief? Like, what is really going on? It's ridiculous. I'm gonna save that commentary for later. And then when you talk about news and you talk about what's going on in the world, unfortunately, you have to talk about some sad stuff too. So we're going to be talking about a young man by the name of Jonathan Price a little bit later in the show. He got shot at a gas station by a police officer while trying to help somebody else. So we'll talk about that when we come back. I need you to help me do one thing this morning. All I need you to do is go and grab somebody and tell them to listen with you to the Mike Brown Morning Show. That's all I need you to do. If you could do that for me, it would be greatly appreciated. All right? I'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere. It's the Mike Brown Morning Show right here on the Urban Uplift.
Wake up. Right here.
The Mike Brown Morning Show.
Wake up, baby, won't you wake up? Hit it in the morning.
Heard weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Urban Uplift.
Keep it locked right here on the most positive place on the planet, the Urban Uplift.
We're glad that you decided to hang out with us this morning. I hope you've been enjoying the show so far. So let's talk. We got to get into this conversation about. Usually I wait to talk about this, but we got to get this out the way now. Somebody thinks that we're stupid. Yeah, they think we crazy. Because it's so many ways I can start this conversation. Let me try to figure out the best way. Let's just go over the events of the last week. last Tuesday, there was a presidential debate. It was one for the books. And I knew it was going to be crazy. I didn't know it was going to be as crazy as it was. Let me put a pin right there. I'm coming back. I'm going to come back to that. Did y'all see Saturday Night Live? Did you see the debate impression? Now, dude that plays Donald Trump, he's hilarious because the way he holds his lips the entire time, like Donald Trump holds his lips, is hilarious. Jim Carrey, you know, to me, he could have did a better Joe Biden. But I guess what makes Jim Carrey who he is that he's just over the top. He oversells everything. So I guess that's what makes him funny. I didn't like his Joe Biden. I think they could have got somebody else to do it. But it was still funny. I mean, I understood where they were going. I guess he had to be over the top because Joe really didn't give them much to go by, other than the fact. Now, it was funny when he was like, I forgot, come back to me. Because Joe did have a lot of moments like that during the debate. And that's only because he was railroaded by Donald Trump. Because the moderator couldn't control Trump. And Joe definitely couldn't control him. So I thought that was funny. So I just wanted to see if y'all saw. Hold on. Okay, I just wanted to see if y'all saw Saturday Night Live. Okay, now, back to what I was saying. Somebody think we stupid. After the debate, a couple of days go by. Now, but what happened at the debate, though, this is what's important. Something happened that Trump didn't expect. There was something that happened that, you know, he thought he was doing good. He thought he was going to come out on top because he's a bully and usually his tactics work. And they were going to work until the question was asked, will you right now today denounce white supremacy? He wasn't ready for that one. Because when they asked him to do it, he said, and I quote, "Stand back and stand down." What in the world? Now, granted, he wasn't ready to answer that. He wasn't ready to, not only was he not ready to denounce white supremacy, but he wasn't able and ready to have a response. So I do believe that stand back, part of me believes that stand back and stand down was just off the top of his head. But then because it's Donald Trump, another part of me is like, stand back and stand down. It could sound like it's a rehearsed thing though. I don't know. But let's move forward. So now that's all the news is talking about. It probably made some undecided voters be like, this dude can't even denounce white supremacy. So if I was going to vote for him because he's on the Republican ticket, I'm not going to. It probably made some people do that. So now, isn't it ironic that just a couple of days after that, we hear word that Donald Trump now has been diagnosed with COVID-19. But the way we heard it was from a tweet. And then after the tweet, then the networks started reporting it. Not only that, it was reported that he and his wife had it. But they don't have no close dealings. And so the plot thickens because when he announced that he had it on Twitter, he said basically he was going to stay in the White House and it was going to be worked out, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Now, you guys remember when I told you this last week, I said, I don't think it's true. As a matter of fact, remember I posted on Facebook and a lot of you commented. I said, does he really have it? Or is this a political ploy to show that you can have the coronavirus and still survive? Remember I said that? Then we talked about it on the next day here on the show. Okay, so now, as time went on, the next day, remember he had to go to the hospital. So at that point, I was like, man, well, maybe he does have it. And you remember when I played Roland Martin, he cussed a little bit. But remember when I played Roland Martin and he went on a rant. And after I heard Roland, I was like, man, maybe he does have the COVID. Maybe he does. And so I sat with that for a little while. But then, in Trump fashion, he has, I don't want to call it a press conference, but he made a statement, a presidential statement from the hospital. And you know, everything was great. Everything was fantastic. Everything was wonderful. He has the best treatment. He feels better than he's felt in 20 years. And so that made me go like, that doesn't really add up with someone that's had or has COVID-19 based on what we know and based on what we've seen. And this man is 74 years old. And he's clearly, you can look at him and tell that he's overweight. So then he goes outside and gets in an SUV and goes and wave at people. Now, if I'm the Secret Service agent in charge of the president's safety, at that moment, I don't care what my rank is. My answer is, Mr. President, for your safety and the safety of others, we cannot allow you to go and greet people. Period. Whether that means I lost my job or not, that's what I got to do because that's me doing my job. Now, how does he look now? Whoever that person was that was in charge that day at that moment. Because now all of the persons that were in that SUV have to be quarantined for 14 days. So let's think about that for a minute. What does that mean for the safety of the people that have to be protected by the Secret Service? If those people were on the president's detail, they must be up the ranks in Secret Service. So, okay. Now, shortly after that, he decides, I'm going back home. Now, here's the thing. Since March, we've been hearing about what happens and what's supposed to happen when you have COVID-19. From day one, it was said that you are supposed to quarantine for 14 days. Period. Now, him going back is not quarantining for 14 days. Why can't he sit in the hospital for 14 days if he has COVID? Here's another thing. Did you see how the stock market dipped and then went back up? Also, did you see how on Fox News, when they report about the president's treatment they go out of their way to say what drugs it was and is that the president has taken and how they worked. Now CNN, they report the medicine too, but if you listen to Fox, and I challenge you to do this, even if you got to go on YouTube and watch the stuff from yesterday or over the weekend, you'll see how when they talk about those drugs, it's almost like a pitch. It's almost like a sale. It's almost like a, hey, go buy this on the stock market because it's about to go up. And so here's what I have to say right now. And my decision is not final in how I feel, but this is what I have to say right now as it relates to the president and COVID-19. I'm leaning more towards what I said at first. I don't believe that Donald Trump has COVID-19. I think that he's saying that he has it or had it in order to show people that you can have it and survive it. I mean, he even said it on his way out of leaving the hospital before he left the hospital. Don't let COVID-19 control you. I'm paraphrasing. Go read it and look it up for yourself. But those his words exactly. Now, at the same time, if he does have it, according to what we've seen with COVID, according to what the Dr. Fauci has said, what happens is it's usually about that 7th or 8th day that thing can turn around for you. And we've seen it. I mean, even with my pastor, remember, those that know, he went to the hospital twice. So what happens is the first time you're symptomatic, whatever have you, you're not feeling good, whatever, you may feel okay, but then it's like another part of it, like 6 or 7 days later, and then he had to go back to the hospital. So if Trump really has it, we'll see. But right now, I don't think he had it or has it. He fits all of the categories of people that don't do well with COVID. He's 74 and he's overweight. Now, the drugs that he was given, they may be, how can I say, the answer or the antidote, for lack of a better word. That may be what can cure the COVID. But isn't it kind of crazy that the person, if he had it, the person that downplayed it the most had access to what, or has access for free to what could cure it, if that's the case? It's crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. So, of course, I got more to say about this. I ain't done talking about it. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it during the course of the show. Well, you heard their commentary. And so they kind of think that he has it. And for me, it's just hard to say because you can't really believe anything that Donald Trump says. And if you listen to the people around him, they kind of speak his language. That what's his the lady that's the press secretary? She's horrible. Now, she's sitting at her house with COVID-19, allegedly, smiling in the camera, saying, "I feel great." Now, are all of these people lying? Are all of these people? I mean, it would be a shame, but at the same time, it's like you can't put anything past them. We saw a quote. Let me find it. Oh, let me find this. We saw where in 2014. he had something out of the way, as he usually does, to say about Barack Obama. Let me get this thing. Where is it at? Okay. Here it is. This was October 5th, 2014. What the HELL is Obama doing in allowing all these potentially very sick people to continue entering the U.S.? Is he stupid or arrogant? Here's my question today. Donald Trump, what are you doing not telling people to wear their mask, making people send their children to school, downplaying the virus, lying after you had an audio conversation that we all heard, admitting that it was airborne and dangerous? What are you doing? Are you stupid or arrogant? My goodness. All right. That was enough on that. I may talk about it some more. But don't go anywhere. I'm going to play some more great music. It's the Mike Brown Morning Show.
The Mike Brown Morning Show.
Wake up, baby, when you wake up, hit it in the morning.
Heard weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Urban Uplift.
Brown Morning Show, as it relates to what's going on in our nation politically. And before we get into it, now let me ask you this. Do you have political aspirations, or have you ever had political aspirations?
I've never really had political aspirations. In recent happenings, or in more recent times, I've just paid more attention to what's going on in politics. I guess the older you get, the more you become aware of how much politics matters. So I just paid more attention over the last few years. So, but I just have a habit of speaking passionately about the things that I feel.
Okay, cool. Well, let's get into it, man. Okay, so remember, we left off last week. We talked about the presidential debate, and we talked about how, the Proud Boys thing that went left. I don't think Trump expected that to happen. And then what he said, stand back, stand down, stand back, whatever. It could have been a secret message, or he could have just been caught off guard. However, because it's Trump, you don't know how to take it. But it's pretty ironic that now he's diagnosed with COVID, and now all we're talking about is Donald Trump and COVID, and we're no longer focused on the campaign. So, what's your thoughts on what's really going on with the president and COVID-19?
Well, first I would say I haven't really cared for Trump's response to COVID-19. Period. It was made known in a recorded interview where Trump lied, and he said, to the journalist, he talked about how dangerous COVID-19 was in February. He talked about knowing that it could be airborne, and he said for not wanting to panic the American people, he played it down. And, so my thing is, it's one thing to handle things in a way so that people don't panic. And then it's another thing to have that conversation and say, it's very dangerous. It's worse than the flu. It's very deadly. And then turn around and say, because I don't want the people to panic, it's a hoax. It's something made up by the Democrats. that's just outright lying. That's not saying things in a way to cause people not to panic. That's just an outright lie. So I haven't cared for Trump the way he's handled, the coronavirus period. And and he was gifted. Trump was gifted a fantastic economy. He was gifted that from the Obama administration, which he constantly attacked. He was gifted that. And because of his mishandling of the coronavirus, he tanked it. Absolutely tanked it. So, it's so many levels of failure on his part as it relates to coronavirus. And not to even mention how he's handling his own personal situation.
Exactly. Does he have COVID-19?
You see the fact that you even asked that question speaks to the tone of the day. It really speaks, and it really speaks to the failure of his administration.
Yeah.
When a report is made that the president himself has a deadly virus, and we all have to scratch our heads and say, does he really have it? What does that tell you? I mean, so when you're in those positions, your life is under a spotlight. Everything you do, everything you say. And there are those who say that throughout his presidency, he has told 20,000 lies.
Wow.
20,000. And this is their fact checkers are a real thing. Okay. Fact checkers are a real thing. So when you hold that kind of office, you hold that kind of power, there are absolutely fact checkers going to verify the things that you say. And they say 20,000 lies. And this right here, the question you ask is proof positive that this man is a known liar.
Yep. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like, I see the reason that it has me questioning it is because we've seen and we've heard people that had COVID. We've heard the testimonies of how it attacked their bodies, how they couldn't breathe, how it was the worst feeling that they've had. And here it is, this man, everything that's negative or the people that they say it attacked the most, people that are over the age of 60 or 65, people that are overweight. He falls into two of those categories, but here it is, he's the picture of perfect health.
Or at least that's what he portrays, right? So he times his exit from Walter Reed Hospital. He times it and synchronizes it during the nightly newscast of all the major broadcast networks, CBS, ABC. That's Walter Holt. That's David Muir. I forget his last name. Not Muir, but it might be Muir.
Are you talking about on Fox? Anyway,
no, ABC.
ABC. Okay.
6:30.
Okay.
ABC. NBC, all the major outlets. That's the evening news slot. 6:30. That's the big one. Times his exit from the hospital just so because he knows that they're going to interrupt, cut feed, and go to him coming out of the hospital just so he can have his photo op and try to show strength. But again, exercising absolute foolishness. He, again, not wearing an N95 mask that actually prevents particles from transferring from the individual, not wearing one, just wearing a regular mask.
But you know what? You know what's also crazy though? Like when we think about Trump, now his traditional character, if he had COVID and he knew he had COVID, would he share that information? Because what prompted him after all this time of not getting tested? What prompted him to get tested if he really did get tested? And if it's not true, how far is his camp willing to go with the lie to control the campaign? Because whether it's true or not, they have completely commandeered and taken over the entire presidential campaign with the narrative that they have put out, whether it's true or not. Because nobody's talking about the campaign anymore.
That very well could be a strategy. One, I would say, so there's this thing in election years called October surprise. Have you heard of?
I have, yeah. Isn't that interesting, man? That is so crazy.
Yeah. So here, and that's my thing. I mean, I don't reject the conspiracy theory at all, because when you see how the entire Republican Party is sold on staying in power and have shown that they will do anything to stay in power. First of all, you got to start in 2016. The election was stolen. Let's just start there.
Yep.
Cambridge Analytica, who flipped elections in 5 other countries, then turns their sights, sets it on the United States. And they don't, Cambridge Analytica, what they do is they get the information from people on social media, and they then zoom in and say, okay, we think this group is the group that we can flip. And then they just turn that small group. It doesn't even have to be that many. So you got to go all the way back to how he got power. Then you see the relentlessness of his party to stay in power when you have people like Lindsey Graham, who is a part of the Judiciary Committee, who says, "Oh, use my words against me. We will not appoint a Supreme Court justice if that justice dies in an election year." That's what he said.
Wow.
Use my words against me. It's recorded. It's on video. It's everywhere.
Wow.
And in an election year, the Supreme Court justice dies, and Mitch McConnell and Trump are off to the races with everybody behind him. Lindsey Graham and what's the other one? Out of Texas, the senator out of Texas, that he called his wife ugly, and he's still supporting this guy.
Ain't that crazy?
He called his wife ugly on national platform. Said his wife is ugly, and he's still.
Wow.
But again, it just speaks to no real morals, no loyalty to truth. These are your words. This is what you said. You said, use my words against me. And so, but when it comes to, am I going to keep my integrity and stand by what I said, or am I going to do whatever it takes to stay in power? We see the choice that they make. It's power every time.
Every time. And
you can call my wife ugly, but I'm gonna rock with you so we can stay in power.
Wow. So, again, it's so much we could talk about. We could be stuck here all day. So, I mean, we gotta go. But 2 things I want to leave with. can you come back on Thursday so we can recap the vice presidential debate?
Yeah, and I'll give my I'll give my prediction. I think black women come through for us again.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna get in trouble for this one, but they professionals at arguing. So I mean, you can't beat them arguing. So if he goes in there with the intent of winning, he's already going to lose. His best defense against her is to let her talk when it's her time, and then he talk when it's his time.
That would be the best strategy, but I would bet the bank on Kamala Harris coming out as the victor in this debate. Like I said, the stage is set. The momentum, all the momentum with Black Lives Matter, Me Too, the women's movement. I mean, it's hers for the taking. And then on top of that, she is a lawyer. She's a career lawyer. So if I was Pence, I would just nervous ain't the word.
Yeah, he should just stick, just play it cool. Because if she don't, she better, basically. Because she got all the tools. Yes. He should just answer the question. Just answer the questions and try to survive. Right. For sure. Okay. So here's what I want to do. I want us to have. Let me ask you this, and if you're not ready to answer it, we can come back and talk about this. But this has really been bothering me for years, but I had let it go a little bit because I thought I understood it until I didn't again. The Electoral College. How much do you emphatically know about how the votes are calculated?
I honestly, Mike, I hear so many opinions about the Electoral College. Everything from mostly, like, a lot of people, Democrats want to not have an Electoral College, so that way you can get the literal amount of votes. So it's not this whole winning state.
Exactly. One vote. Because here's my problem. If it's one person, one vote, that kind of takes the momentum away when you kind of go against that when it comes to the electoral votes. And when you look at so I challenge you to go and read it. Go and read how it's established. It's so contradictory in its makeup. And I just wish that when we were fighting for the right to vote, that someone would have had the wherewithal to fight against the Electoral College, because I don't want to say that it defeats the purpose, but it's such a blow when we go and vote, but then it can be dictated by the Electoral College.
Yes, absolutely, because your vote does matter. However, it depends on what election you're in and what state you're in, because it's all about getting the right ratio of electoral college votes. So you kind of have to understand where some people come from when they feel like their vote doesn't matter, because truly the whole focus of the election really becomes swing states. And it's due to the Electoral College. So Definitely a topic worth tackling. I would like to look into it. I would like to look into it a little bit more before I really try to deep dive. But yeah, definitely worth the conversation.
Well, I did an interview with attorney Rebecca Coleman that's running for a judge in Harper Woods, and we're going to be airing that sometime soon. And but maybe we can have her on. I mean, she did have to study law after all, and I think that's a very important part of it. Maybe she has the insight that we need on that. Maybe we can ask all our questions to her, and then we can come up. You know, I'm always going to be controversial, and you're going to be passionate. So I think we can get what we need. I think we could get what we need from her. So I'm going to try to see if we can get her on and kind of do like a panel of questions. But
yeah,
man,
for sure, man.
I appreciate you, man. And so we'll look forward to hearing from you on Thursday. We look forward to the vice presidential debate tomorrow. Good stuff, man. It's good stuff happening. And in the midst of everything that's going on, God is still good. That's what.
Absolutely.
That's what my I hang my hat on that, man. It doesn't matter, you know, what's going on in the world. God is good no matter what. So man, I'm gonna let you go, and man, have a wonderful rest of your day, man.
Me.
Thank you. Peace.
Yep.
All right, everybody. That was our unofficial pundit. You know, that's what I call him. It was a great conversation. I hope I didn't offend anybody. If I did, the charge in my head, not my heart. It's the Mike Brown Morning Show. I need you. It's almost time to go, but you still got time to tell somebody to come and join us here on the Mike Brown Morning Show. I'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so, you know, like they said, like Gail said, how many times do we have to keep hearing this story and nothing's changed? I'm glad that they charged him. So we found out that they did charge him, and they charged him with murder, as they should have. Why do they not value the lives of black men? Remember last week we talked about genocide? This is a form of genocide. Kill the black men. If you kill the black men, you kill the seed. Then you kind of get rid of. See, because what's going to happen is in about 20 years or so, black people are going to be the majority, or black and brown. If you check the box other, you're going to be the majority. If you check African American or other, white people they're becoming distinct, and so they will be or extinct. Is that the word? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. I think it's extinct. Anyways, they not going to be here in mass numbers as they are now. So is it, and then you know what else it made me think of? Is he a proud boy? Whatever that may be. Is it a badge of honor to kill young black men if you're a white police officer? Because we don't hear about black police officer killing black men. Or we don't hear about black police officers killing white young men. It's a strange. Now they got me thinking about this thing. You know how when you in a gang, or we've all heard about it, you have to be initiated in. And when it was real hardcore, it may still be. You had to kill somebody to get into the gang. Is that what's going on here? Devil, you a liar. But is that what's going on? Wow. I don't know. That made me think. Now they got me side-eyeing the whole institution. I already was, but man. Listen, this is what we need everybody to do. If you are not registered to vote, I'm going to ask you to make sure you do so. Go to vote.org and get registered to vote. If you don't know if you're registered to vote, contact your Secretary of State, or you can go to vote.org. Come up with a plan. Know who you're going to vote for. Don't be bamboozled. Take your time. We were just watching the special last night about the Gore-Bush campaign and how they're saying that Gore lost because of how the ballots were made in a particular county or a particular voting district where people thought they voted for him, but they actually voted for somebody else. So take your time and pay attention to who you want to vote for. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but I will say that I don't think Trump is the guy on this time around. I don't think he was the guy last time around, but I mean, what do you do when you feel like you're out of options? I don't know. Go to take it to the Lord and pray. Hey, here's one thing that I haven't said since we've been back on. If you are interested in honing your musical talents and skills, or if you feel like you want to learn music, if you want to learn how to play piano, you may play a little bit, but you want to get better. If you want to learn how to read music, if you want to learn music theory, if you want to learn how to teach choir parts, I got you. Not only am I the host of the Mike Brown Morning Show, but I've been a student of music, a teacher of music, a minister of music for almost all my life. So if any of those things interest you and you want to learn those things, or you know somebody that does, all you have to do is go to www.patreon.com/yourmusicminister. I want to say it again. It's www.patreon.com/yourmusicminister. Patreon is spelled Patreon. That's patreon.com/yourmusicminister. All you're going to do is sign up. Get this, folks. It's only $25 a month. And you have complete access to all of the information there. Unlimited access to all the information there. So you want to get that done. You want to sign up for that. It's life changing. The value in it is second to none, because when I did traditional lessons, I charged $30 per session, and each session was every week. And if you do the math on that, and that's on the low end, I charged lower than everybody else charged. Some people charge $50, $60 and upward per session. I only charge $30 per session. And so if you do the math on that, that's $120 a month. You get the same information at your leisure, at your fingertips, for $25 a month. And with that $25, you get a one-on-one session with yours truly. You get to schedule it. It's virtual, but you get to schedule one-on-one time. And we've just added vocal lessons. So you want to be a part of that. Patreon.com/yourmusicminister. It's been a great day. I thank you all for hanging out with us. I don't take it lightly. I'm glad you were here. I hope that you were entertained. I know we cover some heavy subjects here, some controversial things, but I hope that something during this time registers with you or resonates with your spirit, and I hope it's encouraging in some way, and I hope that it's enough for you to go and tell somebody to join you in listening to the Mike Brown Morning Show. We're getting ready to launch our YouTube page. It's a little soft launch that's going on. Start kind of going there at your leisure. The Mike Brown Morning Show. That's as simple as that. The Mike Brown Morning Show. There is one video there. So it's a soft launch. I'm just going to tell you all about it. But in the days to come, in the next couple of weeks, we want to do a mass, how can I say, a mass, what's a blitz? That's a good word. We want to get everybody over there in the next couple of weeks because we're going to be dropping videos a lot more often. And we want you to help us build that as well. We can't do this without y'all. So we need your help. So just go to YouTube and type in the Mike Brown Morning Show, and you'll see our page there. We're still building it, but as we build, we want you to be a part of it. This is how I want to end the show today. No matter what you're going through, no matter how bleak it may look, remember, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Just keep pressing through. And once you get through it, you'll see that light. All right? I'll see you here on the radio tomorrow. It's the Mike Brown Morning Show.
I see the light coming. No matter what it is.
Wake up. Right here.
The Mike Brown Morning Show.
Wake up, baby, don't you wake up? Hit it in the morning.
Heard weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Urban Uplift.